Hey, welcome back to our Messy Faith series, part 3 today. Last week we left off with Joseph interpreting the dreams of a cupbearer and a baker, and they came true. We're going to jump right back to that point and continue on in the story to see what happens next. Check it out. Dreams that came true. He told the cupbearer to remember him. It says, when this happens in 3 days, please remember me. Please mention me to Pharaoh because I want to get out of prison. The cupbearer completely forgot. Didn't mention him at all. 2 years later, 2 years, the Pharaoh has a dream that nobody can figure out what it means. And it's really bothering him. He says, I know this means something, but nobody can tell me what it is. And the cupbearer remembers. Oh, whoops. I know somebody that might be able to help you. I was supposed to say this 2 years ago, but Joe, down in prison, he can help you. He told me about what my dream meant, and it came true, and here I am still working for you, so he can help you. So Pharaoh says, okay, bring Joseph up from prison. So Joseph comes and hears the dream. And Pharaoh says, in my dream, there were 7 cows. 7 cows that came up out of the Nile River, and they were eating. They were stocky, heavy, fat cows, very healthy, very thick. And they were just eating and eating and eating and eating and eating. And then 7 very thin, scrawny, ugly cows came up after them and ate them. But even though they had eaten these really fat cows, they still looked very scrawny, very sick. And Joseph says, God has given you this dream. He's telling you that there will be 7 awesome, abundant years here in Egypt. There will be 7 years where there's so much food you won't even know what to do with it all. And then there will be 7 years after that where there is nothing. A famine will come and there will be no food. So he's giving you a heads up and a warning so that you can plan for it. And the Pharaoh goes, well, I couldn't figure that out. None of my other guys could figure that out. But you did. And God's told you that. So you are going to be in charge. I am going to make you in charge of all of Egypt, starting today. And you are going to have to prep us for the famine. And Joseph did. And he became the right-hand official of Pharaoh. You can think of it this way. God has a big plan, like a puzzle. And we are different pieces of the puzzle and the plan that he has. Joseph played his part. He was part of God's big plan to save all of Israel and bring them to become a successful nation. So the story wasn't actually about Joseph. It was about God. And our story is the same. God has a purpose and a plan for us and a role to play too. And when we do, we become part of God's bigger plan. It's not about us. It's about what God's doing through us. It's all about God. But he wants to use us. He wants to use us to save other people eternally. He wants to have a relationship with you. He wants you to get to know him and to read about him in the Bible. He wants to reveal his awesome characteristics to you. He wants to speak to you. And he wants you to talk to your friends and family about him so that everybody can be saved. That's his big plan, and he wants you to be a part of it. So think about that this week, and I'll see you next week for the part 4.